Topic: Hometown. 1. Where are you from? I'm originally from Bac Ninh, which is a small province in northern Vietnam, not very far from Hanoi. Even though it's developing really quickly these days, it still has that peaceful small-town atmosphere that I grew up with. 2. Is that a big city or a small place? Compared to Hanoi, I'd say Bac Ninh is still relatively small. Life there is much slower paced and less chaotic, which is honestly something I appreciate more as I get older. 3. What's your hometown famous for? Bac Ninh is best known for Quan Ho folk singing, which is actually recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. Besides that, the province is also famous for traditional festivals and ancient pagodas. 4. Do many people visit your town? Yes, especially during the festival season. A lot of visitors come to Bac Ninh to experience traditional culture and visit spiritual sites. In recent years, there have also been more foreign workers and business people because of the industrial zones there. 5. What's the weather like where you live? The weather is pretty similar to Hanoi since they're quite close geographically. Summers are usually boiling hot and humid, while winters can get surprisingly cold. Personally, I love springtime because the atmosphere feels festive and lively after Tet. 6. What do you like most about your hometown? Probably the sense of community. Since it's not an overly crowded place, people tend to know their neighbors quite well, and relationships feel more genuine. Growing up there, I always felt a strong sense of belonging. 7. Where do you like to go in that area? I really enjoy visiting quiet cafes or walking around local pagodas whenever I go back there. Compared to Hanoi, the atmosphere feels much calmer, so it's easier for me to relax and clear my head. 8. Is there anything you dislike about it? I think public transportation is still quite limited there, so people mainly rely on motorbikes to get around. Also, because the province has industrial areas now, traffic and air quality have become worse than before. 9. Are the people in your neighborhood nice and friendly? Definitely. People there are generally warm-hearted and welcoming. When I was younger, neighbors often visited each other casually or shared food during special occasions, which created a really close-knit atmosphere. 10. Are there people of different ages living in this city? Of course. One thing I notice is that many elderly people still prefer staying in Bac Ninh, while younger adults sometimes move to bigger cities for work or study. So there's an interesting mix of traditional and modern lifestyles there. 11. What kinds of jobs do local people do there? Nowadays, a lot of people work in factories or industrial parks because Bac Ninh has attracted many international companies. At the same time, some locals still run small family businesses or work in traditional crafts. 12. Is your hometown a good place for young people to live in? I think so, especially for people who prefer a quieter lifestyle. Living costs are generally lower than in Hanoi, and life feels less stressful overall. But for career opportunities, many young people still choose to move to larger cities. 13. Would you recommend the town to people with children? Yes, absolutely. I think Bac Ninh is a pretty family-friendly place because it's safer and less hectic than major cities. Children can grow up in a more relaxed environment and probably spend more time with extended family as well. 14. How has your hometown changed over the years? It has changed dramatically, to be honest. When I was a child, Bac Ninh felt much quieter and more traditional. But now there are more high-rise buildings, shopping centers, and industrial developments, so the province feels far more modern than before. 15. Is there any way your hometown could be made better? I think the local government could invest more in green spaces and public facilities. Since the province is urbanizing quite rapidly, maintaining a cleaner and healthier environment will probably become more important in the future. 16. Have you learned anything about the history of your hometown? Yeah, especially about Quan Ho culture and some historical pagodas in the area. At school, we also learned that Bac Ninh used to be an important cultural and educational center in northern Vietnam centuries ago. 17. Did you learn about the culture of your hometown in your childhood? Definitely. Growing up, I was exposed to a lot of traditional customs, especially during festivals and family gatherings. I still remember listening to Quan Ho songs played during local events when I was little, so those memories feel really nostalgic to me.